Football usually tells us who to remember. Trophies decide legends. Statistics decide greatness. But some players don't fit neatly into those boxes. This video is not a highlight reel. It is not exaggerated praise. It is about understanding where greatness really begins. Long before the cameras arrive. Because before Europe knew his name, before stadiums chanted it, before defenders feared him. Jay-Jay Okocha was just a boy in Lagos. Lagos in the late 1970s and 1980s was not a place designed to produce global football icons. It was chaotic, unpredictable, relentless. The streets were crowded, noisy, and alive with movement. Vendors shouted, buses pushed through impossible traffic, dust filled the air, and everywhere, in alleys, open spaces, and roads, children played football. Not on perfect grass, not with expensive boots, but with whatever they had, sometimes a real ball, sometimes something stitched together, sometimes nothing more than imagination. This is where Okocha learned the game, not in academies, not under structured coaching, but in an environment where creativity was survival. Street football is different. There are no referees, no strict formations, no second chances. You learn quickly. If you lose the ball, you might not get it back. If you hesitate, someone stronger takes it. If you aren't creative, you disappear. This environment does something important. It doesn't just teach skill, it teaches instinct. Okocha didn't learn to dribble because a coach told him to. He learned to dribble because it was the only way to survive. Every feint had a purpose. Every movement had meaning. And slowly, something began to stand out. He wasn't just playing football. He was interpreting it differently. Other children played to win. Okocha played to create. He saw angles others didn't. He moved in ways defenders couldn't predict. He used rhythm, hesitation, and sudden acceleration, not just speed. People began to notice, not because he scored the most goals, but because when he had the ball, everything changed. The game slowed down, crowds gathered, players watched. That's the first sign of a special footballer. Not numbers, but attention. But being different is not always rewarded, especially in structured systems. As Okocha began to move into more organized football environments in Nigeria, he faced a new challenge: expectation. Coaches wanted discipline, systems demanded structure. Football, at higher levels, required obedience, and Okocha didn't naturally fit into that. He took risks others wouldn't take. He held the ball longer than expected. He played passes that didn't exist in coaching manuals. Some saw genius, others saw a problem. Early rejection and doubt. This is where many talents disappear, not because they lack ability, but because they don't fit the system early enough. Okocha faced coaches who didn't trust his style, systems that preferred predictability, environments that punished risk. And this creates doubt, not just from others, but internally. Am I playing the right way? Should I change? Is this sustainable? This is the first real test of a player's identity. Choosing identity over approval. Okocha made a critical decision early, even if he didn't fully realize it at the time. He refused to completely abandon his style. He adapted where necessary, but he didn't erase what made him unique. This balance between adaptation and identity would define his entire career. The Nigerian football reality. At the time, Nigeria had talent, plenty of it, but structure, opportunity, consistency, not always. Football in Nigeria was influenced by Limited infrastructure, selection politics, inconsistent development pathways. This meant one thing: talent alone was not enough. You needed opportunity, timing, exposure, and often luck. Eventually, Okocha's ability became impossible to ignore. His performances began to stand out beyond local environments. Scouts started paying attention. Clubs began to show interest. But even then, nothing was guaranteed. Many players reached this stage and disappeared. The difference? Okocha had something systems couldn't teach: confidence in his own interpretation of the game. Leaving home. When the opportunity to move to Europe finally came, it wasn't just a career step, it was a risk, a major one. Leaving Nigeria meant new culture, new expectations, new pressure, no safety net. And most importantly, a system that would not tolerate mistakes the same way. The streets of Lagos had created a player defined by freedom, creativity, and instinct. But Europe was different, structured, disciplined, unforgiving. And the question now was simple: could a player shaped by chaos succeed in a system built on control? Because what made Okocha special was exactly what Europe often tried to remove.